Level 1. The Plant Trainee. You are 20, fresh out of vocational school. You work at an assembly plant that builds engines and installs them into cars. Your badge is temporary. Your job is not glamorous. You start on the line. Your day begins at 6 o'clock. You put on safety shoes, glasses, and gloves. You stand at your station where engines move past you on a conveyor. You tighten bolts, check fluid levels, and scan barcodes. Each car has a build sheet. You learn to read it fast. Supervisors push for rhythm. A car every fixed number of minutes. You feel pressure whenever someone ahead slows down. You learn small tricks, like how to position tools so you do not waste seconds, how to spot a misaligned part with a glance. One day, a sensor flags a defect in an engine you worked on. You expect blame. Instead, your supervisor walks you through the data, shows where the issue started, and thanks you for catching it earlier on another unit. You realize quality matters more than speed over time. You start taking night classes on automotive technology. You want more than the line. You want to understand the whole system. Level 2, the line engineer. By 25, you become a junior engineer supporting the same plant. You now look at the line from above, not only from a single station. You study throughput, defect rates, and worker feedback. You help design changes that make assembly smoother. Your tasks include adjusting torque settings, updating work instructions, and testing new tools. You walk the line daily. You watch how people move. You ask operators where they struggle. They point out heavy parts, awkward angles, and confusing labels. You bring those issues into engineering meetings. You also handle data. You pull production reports, analyze downtime causes, and run small experiments. If a new process reduces rework, you push for standardization. If a change increases errors, you roll it back, even if it looked good on paper. Your first major project is reorganizing part delivery to reduce walking distance for workers. The change feels minor, but after implementation, you see fewer delays, fewer mistakes, and fewer tired faces. You start to understand how small design choices shape daily life on the factory floor. Level 3, the vehicle engineer. You are 29 when you move to the development center near Stuttgart. You work on a new model line, focused on chassis and ride comfort. Your world shifts from clocked production to prototypes and design reviews. You collaborate with designers, materials experts, and test drivers. You sit in meetings where sketches become clay models and then test vehicles. You help translate driving feel into engineering parameters: stiffness, damping, weight distribution. You spend hours in testing grounds, riding in camouflaged cars over rough roads, sharp turns, and high-speed tracks. You watch instruments record vibration, noise, and handling data. You note where the car feels firm, where it feels loose, where it feels wrong. Back in the lab, you adjust suspension settings, swap components, and run simulations. You argue for choices that balance comfort and safety, not only marketing claims. You know that each car carries families, commuters, and long-distance drivers. Their trust rests on your calculations and tests. One evening, you see the pre-production car on a public road for the first time, still covered but recognizable. You feel a quiet pride knowing you helped shape how it behaves. Level 4, the quality leader. By 33, you lead a small team responsible for quality on a specific model line. Your job is simple to describe and complex to execute. Find problems early, fix them properly, and prevent repeats. You review warranty data, service reports from dealerships, and customer feedback. You look for patterns: a noise at certain speeds, a leak under specific conditions, an electronic glitch in certain markets. You map complaints to components and processes. You coordinate with factories, suppliers, and design teams. When a recurring issue appears, you assemble a task group. You reproduce the problem, trace root cause, and propose a fix. Sometimes it is a design flaw. Sometimes a supplier changed material. Sometimes training in a plant missed a critical detail. You also manage recalls and service campaigns. These are difficult days. You know owners depend on their cars. You push for clear messages and fast repairs. You ensure dealers receive parts and instructions on time. Your decisions carry weight. Approving a fix that does not fully solve a safety issue is unacceptable. Delaying a needed action risks lives. You feel the pressure, but you choose caution and thoroughness. Level 5. The Product Manager. You are 37 when you move closer to the commercial side. Your title is Product Manager for a segment, for example, compact luxury cars or electric sedans. You stand between engineering, marketing, and sales. You define the product lineup. Which models, trims, and options exist? You decide what features enter standard packages and which ones stay optional. You look at competitor offerings, regulations, and internal capabilities. You read market data. You see trends in electrification, connectivity, and driver assistance systems. You propose changes based on what users truly use, not only what looks good in catalogs. You push for clear naming, honest range estimates, and transparent performance claims. You spend time with customers and dealers. You join focus groups, review surveys, and visit showrooms. You listen to complaints about confusing interfaces, high service costs, or feature overload. You carry those voices into high-level discussions. You fight for certain choices, keeping physical controls for critical functions, avoiding overcomplicated menus, building real long-term support for software features, not short-lived gimmicks. Sometimes you win, sometimes you compromise, but you keep the user perspective in every meeting. Level 6. The Division Head. By 42, you lead an entire division. Your view is global. You oversee multiple product lines, factories, and teams. You balance innovation, cost, supply chains, and regulations across regions. You decide where to invest heavily. New battery technology, autonomous driving capabilities, or manufacturing upgrades. You coordinate with research centers, financing, and external partners. You know you cannot chase every trend, so you pick paths that align with the brand and long-term safety. You watch economic shifts, supply disruptions, and political changes. A rare material constraint forces redesign. A new regulation demands different safety systems. You respond by adjusting roadmaps and keeping communication open. You spend less time in labs and more in boardrooms, but you still visit plants and test tracks regularly. You ask frontline people what slows them down, what worries them, what works. You trust their input more than polished slide decks. Your decisions affect thousands of employees and millions of drivers. You feel the responsibility when you sign off on plans. Level 7, the board member. You are 48, and now you sit on the board of Mercedes-Benz. You no longer own a single product or plant. You help steer the entire company. You review large strategies, full electrification timelines, global footprint, digital services, safety commitments. You think about how every choice will look 10 years from now, not only next quarter. You ask hard questions about ethics and sustainability. How are materials sourced? How are workers treated across suppliers? How does the company handle data privacy and connected cars? You push for transparency reports and external audits. You also guard the brand's core values. Mercedes-Benz built its name on safety, engineering, and comfort. You resist shortcuts that would trade those strengths for temporary appeal or cost savings that we can trust. Late at night, you think about your path from plant trainee tightening bolts to board member signing global strategies. The scale changed. The rooms changed. The language changed. One thing did not. Every rank you held in Mercedes-Benz centered on one idea: build vehicles and systems that respect the people who use them, by keeping quality, safety, and honesty ahead of speed, fashion, and pure numbers.